Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Malik.
Good morning.
Good morning. You gentlemen are sounding energetic this morning.
Raymond, do you like it better when Enimwa says the good morning with all of those accolades?
No.
Enimwa will hear this.
I prefer helpful honesty.
Enimwa will hear this.
I'm sure she's hearing it already. Let's do the front page.
The Chronicle is reporting this morning Achimabuakwa Kotoku in battle over Nsawam Adwajiri lands and armed robbers. Listen to this one, Daniel. Rob travelers of their Bibles. And it was an interesting
Bibles.
They
couldn't find anything else.
All the things.
No, is it that they went for the Bibles or they stole from them?
So they asked, what do you have? They said, I don't have money. They said, the Bible is on the lap, so okay, bring it. Okay. So this is their widow's mite is the Bible. So okay, can still contribute that.
Look at it this way. He may read the Bible and decide.
Oh, no. He also said the Bible.
Use Bibles for sale.
Anyway, let's do the Daily Guide newspaper front page stories. Nana beats Mahama on corruption fight. Police take over NDC office. MPP house at NDC over dirty strategy. Government releases 49 million for teachers. We did this yesterday. The PPA boss replies, charge the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice.
The Business Finder is reporting this morning. Be among top companies. Dr. Awal tells Ghanaian owned firms and mining 1.3 billion baht as tax revenue. There's one also about EcoBank boost SME operations with Digi Banking Pack, and that's on the front page of the Business Finder this morning.
The next paper I have is one that I don't frequently see these days. The Daily Dispatch newspaper, analysis of population in Ashanti region accounts at 74%. Moli Dagbang is 11%. Evers are 33.8%. Christians are 77.8%. Muslims 15.2%. As per the 2010 population census. Other stories on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. MPP and NDC MPs unite only when it benefits them. That's according to former Chiraj boss Justice Emil Short. My mother quit the church because of my Moses song, and Pope Francis accuses critics of stabbing him in the back.
The New Crusading Guide is reporting this morning, yesterday, the press statement from the Lance Minister there. Confiscated rosewood will not be set on fire, as was suggested by, your good friend, Sir John. And also on the front page of the paper is MPP fights NDC over corruption claims, insists on due process, and Akufo-Addo is not corrupt. NDC's Alote Jacobs declares, the last one there, NDC gurus doubts JM's chances in 2020. Those are the stories on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. But I know my favorite story in that particular New Crusading Guide is on page 8. It's a very special feature. It's about 7 figures who did more to found University of Ghana than JB Dankwa. I'll do that story later.
And you will answer why it's your favorite story.
Okay.
And the corruption story is dominating the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. The headline is Mahama is more corrupt. Afro Barometer report says corruption has reduced under Akufo-Addo. Other stories do. Government attains 85% success in Galamsey fight, and Bawumia is saying we are ready to support creative ideas from the youth.
Now, the Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning, the fight against Galamsey government achieves 85%. Now, also on the front page there, war against corruption. We are on course. That's the NPP. And says senior minister is very angry that 1.3 billion is being spent on rice imports only. And I know that the lives of Malik are
leave my hand,
blazing the trail in that particular area, providing solutions, real-time solutions.
Rice farmers of multimedia.
Roma, but something is curious. When Johnson Asiedu Nketia did the press conference and the NDC held their press conference making allegations of corruption against it, you didn't see it dominating the front pages.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, there's last one. the very terrible story there. Joy News's David Ando assaulted by assemblyman, and that story I'll be giving you details of pretty soon.
The Daily Graphic newspaper front page stories Agric will continue to receive priority attention. That's according to Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, stating this at the launch of this year's Farmers Day. Always travel with relevant documents. That's the Immigration Service giving advice. Students Loan Trust Fund owed 75 million Ghana cedis. Raymond, have you paid your loan?
Hopefully.
Oh!
What were you expecting?
Please.
No, I think the question is, are you paying? Because you haven't finished paying.
Oh, yes, of course. Sometimes you might have been of the opinion you are paid, but still, it will be there somewhere. If like as a fool that owe the bank.
If you are listening and you are part, because there are more than 50,000 people still owe.
55,000 people have defaulted
Maybe they
since
didn't get
2012.
jobs.
Yeah,
No, they have defaulted.
Yeah.
You default when you have gotten a job and you are not paying. Because
When
you
there's
can-
also expectation that I've gotten a job.
no, but the point is that you only start paying after you are employed.
But that's
So that's the term of the student loan.
First. What they
Raymond has not
answered
answered categorically whether he paid or not. Let's move
Because
on.
you have a job.
Hopefully.
Male.
Back page stories of the Daily Graphic newspaper. 50 Ayalolo buses deployed on Accra routes, and polio vaccination starts in Greater Accra. Parents, guardians encouraged to patronize.
Let's start with that terrible story that happened yesterday. So, we have a Clean Ghana campaign. The Joy Clean Ghana campaign
Thank you.
is to aid the various authorities across the country, more importantly, in the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, to clear the various areas where we ourselves as a people know that we have not been very clean. We do know that sanitation is a big deal. In the year 2014 to 2015, within the first 16 weeks of that particular period, we lost 147 Ghanaians through cholera alone. And that's how dangerous the condition is. Now, in 2007, the WHO estimated that this country loses 290 million. 2007
Dollars.
Yes, dollars every single year, because this is estimated cost for open defecation directly. So sanitation
Just
is
open
it's a big deal. We have done procurement, interest, and abused the process with sanitation, which is not going to be my focus. It's one of the all important thing, and Araba was here to tell us more about why we needed this particular campaign. So the important visit to Jamestown, and again, it was not our visit. It was the sanitation officers who were leading the act. We just followed up to see what was really happening on the ground. So you can be brought that particular information about how government and other institutions are collaborating to make sure that we improve the sanitation in the country.
And to make sure that the president's vision becomes a reality.
Brilliant. Making Accra the cleanest in Africa. It was this particular pursuit that led an assemblyman, surprisingly, perhaps the lowest officer of the state on the ground, an elected officer who people voted for, attacking our very own Dividendo. He's a photojournalist with us here. The terrible part of it is that the assemblyman did not even issue warning saying that, please, don't do this or don't do that. It was one of those instances where a man, feeling that he has extreme power, takes the law into his own hands and together with others decide to unleash violence on a person who was just doing their job. So if you're a doctor today, if you're a nurse today, or you happen to be any other profession, imagine somebody came to your workplace and decided to attack you when you were doing the job, destroying the camera in the process of actually attacking the gentleman. And at the end of the day, the police matter has been reported to the police. The police say that they are working on it, and you can understand. I want to just put the number there. This is the 45th time since February 2017 that there's been an attack on a media personality, a media institution, or a related one. 45th time. And we can pretend that it is not a big issue. We can pretend it doesn't amount to attack on press freedom, but the realities on the ground are there. What we clearly are doing is, for every single attack, we are taking the reputation that this state used to have as being one that supported, promoted, and actually to some extent safeguarded the practice of this particular noble profession in ways that that made it admirable to the rest of the world. So, for example, for a very long time, we have been the kingpins of media freedom on the continent. Now, nobody, at least for that at all, could beat us in this particular case. But yesterday's incident is one of the saddest that went down in the history of this country, that we are not out of the woods yet.
Raymond, what is curious is that this same community, when they have a problem, you call on the media.
Yeah.
When they have a problem that they want government attention on, the first port of call is the media. And sometimes this is led by assembly members themselves, who recognize that once media persons pay attention to the matter, government will pay attention to it as well, and they will deal with it.
What's curious for me is the reason why the assemblyman attacked David Ano in the first place. Because he didn't just attack David, he stopped the sanitation inspectors from the AMA, who are part of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. And let's hear Florence Kuchi. She was speaking. She's the head of public health at the AMA. Listen to her.
This is where politics have taken us to. Does it mean that if they are going to have elections, you shouldn't clean your environment? If somebody doesn't clean the environment, the person falls sick and die. Would a dead person come and vote for you?
So his problem is he just wants to win the next election. So whatever you are doing, you have to stop to enable him pander to the real desires of these people.
Yeah, that if we leave the people to live in this insanitary conditions, it is only by that they will vote for his party. Now let's go to the PPA, where the suspended PPA boss, Mr. ABAJ, Ajanim Boateng AJ, is categorically denying any allegations of conflict of interest leveled against him. Now, Daniel, we remember that when that Manasseh documentary was aired, the president wrote 2 letters. One directing the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to investigate ABAJ for conflict of interest or possible conflict of interest. Another letter went to the Office of Special Prosecutor asking that he should be investigated for possible corruption. Now, consistent with practice, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice wrote to ABAJ to respond to whether or not he was caught in any conflict of interest situation. His lawyers, led by Yao Pong, replied, insisting that there was no basis at all for anybody to level any allegation of conflict of interest against him. That Manasseh did not demonstrate how ABAJ's personal interests interfered with the performance of his duties. As far as they are concerned, he was not involved in the award of contracts, and the basis of the story, which was the sale of contracts to other persons, he was not involved in that as well. And that there was no way anyone could stretch what transpired to mean that he, ABAJ, was in a position of conflict of interest at all. So we know that this investigation will continue, but the lawyers insist that there is no issue at all. That the claim of sale of contracts by TDL after the company had participated in a tender not organized by the Public Procurement Authority, and it had been declared the successful tender not by the PPA but by other entities, has no bearing on conflict of interest with the duties of our client as a public officer.
Right, thanks Malik. And let's talk about the GES speaking to SHS students now.
Basically, everybody who is going to school, be rest assured you'll go through the placement process. 2, you'll find your school. 3, you'll be prepared and have enough time to be able to go to school. Nobody should fear that you might not be able to see your placement, you might not be able to rectify problems, and whichever category you belong to, gold or green, you may not be able to go to school. This is the assurance from Cassandra, who actually is the PR of that particular ministry. Of course, the GS has been making clear indications that they are on top of the issues. They anticipated some of these mishaps and are doing everything possible to fix it. So this is perhaps the boldest declaration from them that be rest assured, the school here will not start before you get into the school.
We'll have them on the show this morning, and we are asking that if you have any questions at all, if you have any challenges at all, if you're falling prey to some of these mishaps, if I can use that expression, please send us a message on 0244 340 437, 0244 340 437, or tweet at us at Joy997FM. Go on our Facebook page, Joy 99.7 FM. Speaking of education, Malik.
Yes, so more than 55,000 of Raymond's kind have failed to pay loans that they took from the Student Loan Trust Fund to help their tertiary education. 55,000.
Let me just say that what you said about Raymond remains an allegation.
Yeah, thank you
Answer
so much for
that
the clarification.
I can only be
Yes,
host
please
you.
proceed.
These 55,000, they owe the trust fund 75 million Ghana cedis. Now, out of the 55,000, 35,000 made some payments. The remaining 20,000 made no payment at all, not
Some
even one
payment
cedi. So, yeah, I have taken judicial notice of your statement that Raymond falls within the 35,000.
What is this about it?
You are creating your own notices. I hear
You are creating your own notice or statement that we are not hearing.
35,000 paid some. They made some payments. The 20,000 people made no payment at all. And the quantum of money owed by the 20,000 is 35 million. So that means that out of the 75 million, 40 million is owed by the 35,000 who have paid some.
I have a plea. Since we have tried to save banks with monies and banks are owned by rich people, we are trying to retrieve it. Some of them we cannot retrieve. Some of these comrades are people who are very little, are still finding jobs, they have found some jobs, they are getting meager salaries. Would it not be in the collective conscience and interest of the state that we for once say, we have let you go, we've wiped the slate clean, from now onwards we will not allow this happen
again? The Student
again.
Loan Trust Fund itself says that 7,000 people say that that's 35% of the people who owe, say that they are not paying because they are unemployed. And they have not had jobs.
For a very long time.
For a very long
That's a reality.
Okay, Raymond. As altruistic as you sound,
Yes.
I can't help but suspect that you are really advocating for yourself. Charlie, what they can say it and let's help you out.
The trust fund is saying that they're going to start publishing names and photographs.
All right, news of talkatives.
Raymond, you owe your own parents and they are going to publish your name in the newspaper. How can they do that?
Why?
Anyway.
So the chief executive of the Student Loan Trust Fund, Nana Kweku Eje Yabua, he is the one who is telling the Daily Graphic that the publication is one of the measures that they are taking to ensure that the payment improves, because the recovery rate is 65%. So out of 100 people, only 65 people will pay their loan.
The rest did not get jobs.
bad.
Yeah.
The rest will not pay. Meanwhile, they require 189 million to provide loans to 50,000 expected applicants this year alone.
No, but you see, Malik, let's take this job thing seriously, because it has been found that only 10% of the average university population will find work in the first 2 years after graduation. And it will take the rest of the 90% another 10 years before they get jobs. So the job question, let's look at it very seriously. But people like
people should not
who
start
have jobs.
No, see, people should not start working with debt. It is not. It's not
But
fair.
you took the loan
from your own state.
No, I agree. I agree perfectly with the sentiments about people not having jobs and that then making it impossible for them to pay. The fundamental point we have to make is that Ghanaians generally don't like to pay loans.
You have a point. Look at the non-performing loans.
Maybe their fathers, but
on the banks.
they are just leaving school. They don't have that kind of attitude. Now,
You know
you see,
what?
there's a history that we should be mindful of. There was some time that in this country, some people were fed chicken, they were given free allowance, they had wonderful university stay, they didn't pay school fees and all of that. Now you have to pay huge sums, and for the poor, it's becoming increasingly more expensive to do so. There's a point I need to make, though, about the 7 figures who did more to found University of Ghana than
Raymond,
JB
just the
Dankwa.
names.
I'm
Just the names.
Yes, giving you the names. The notable ones are 1, Asantini Otu for Ajman Prempeh. The second, Cash from Cocoa Farmers. 2, David Mowbray Bam and Bam Libraries, named after this particular principal. And Dr. Frederick Nanka Bruce, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Reverend Professor C.G. Beta, and Sir Akuko
You mean Baita?
Yes, Baita, yeah. There's also one about Sir Edward Asafweji. So these gentlemen, distinguished in their very capacity, nobody is saying that Dr. J.B. Dankwa did not do anything. But in terms of contribution, the special feature in the Crusading Guide says these people trump the venerable J.B. Dankwa.
Let the debate begin. Online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. Goil Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you are guaranteed extra quality with their fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of Goil's over 360 service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy Goil. Grow Ghana. Goil Good Energy. Goil Yenara Yedia. Whether you are a corporate entity or an individual, Zenith Bank has an electronic product to cater for your unique financial needs. Sign up today for Zenith Bank's electronic banking solutions and enjoy the convenience of banking on the go. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. MyJoyOnline.com says implement the Auditor General report recommendations by September 30 or else the minister tells district assemblies. Star FM says that StarFM.com says NDC has no message for 2020, the NPP speaking there. And the BBC.com says Nigeria court upholds Buhari's poll victory. Okay, still live on the Super Morning Show. We'll be right back after these important messages.